Hi, Kat.
Hello, John.
How are you?
I am well, John. How are you?
Thank you for asking. I am fine.
Oh, just fine.
I'm fine, Kat.
Moving on. John, what are we doing here?
I believe this is what we call podcasting, is what we're doing. Yeah.
Great. Sounds
Great.
fun.
Yes.
How do we do that?
We talk into microphones and we say things, and then when we feel like we've said enough things, we stop. And then we take the things that we've said and we distribute them to the peoples.
Wow.
And they listen to the things that we have said.
That sounds fun and exciting.
Tens of people's, Kat. And some of them like it.
Oh. Some people like it.
Some people like it.
Okay, great. That sounds great format. I love a format. We can stick to that format. How are we going to do that tonight? What are the things that we're going to talk about that we'll be sending out to the people?
Well, we have different things and ways of talking about things, different categories. Okay. One of them is when it's it'll be like we have a guest to come on and talk about things.
Okay.
And sometimes it's just you and me, and we talk about things. Other times we talk about things that are mistakes. Sometimes they're things that aren't really mistakes. They're just sort of like, I don't know, bison that have run into accidents in national parks.
Yeah. John, I'm going to be honest with you. You've lost me. I have no idea.
I'm sorry. Okay.
I don't know what's happened.
You know what? I feel like we've been lost for some time. And sometimes you need a shepherd or a shepherdess
nice.
to bring the flock back together.
Amazing.
And get your flock together. And I think tonight is one of those nights.
John, let's get flocked.
Let's get flocked. Let's flocking do this. Okay?
Let's flocking go.
Let's flocking go. So I'm gonna welcome our shepherdess for the evening, who's joining us for I don't even know how many times now, because we just love having her on so much that we never want to stop.
Yeah.
Patty Lin.
Hello.
Welcome to the show.
Hello, Patty.
All right, that was so forced, John.
I don't know what you're talking about.
The whole flock and shepherds and
this is all stream of consciousness. Nothing is forced.
That was good. I was on board. I liked it.
Thank you. I do not suffer cranial constipation.
He's like,
if anything, it's verbal diarrhea.
I feel like I should be wearing a wool sweater.
There you go.
Do you have
Where's
one?
your crook?
I do.
Yeah?
My crook.
That was a conceit that did not really work, I admit, but I went with it anyway, as I'm wont to do.
Cool. You committed.
Yeah. Hello. Welcome to the show, Patty Lin.
Commitment is like 90% of the
right? Showing up is the other 10%. So bam,
exactly.
You're done.
Yep.
Thank you for coming, everyone. It's so nice to have you on the show. You are not just a friend of the pod. You're like a family member of the pod at this point.
It's true.
I'm family.
You are totally family. You are my mistake family.
I'm invited to Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
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 I like how you had to think about that for a second.
Well, you don't just want to jump into something like that. You have to, you are invited to Thanksgiving.
Totally. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Cool. How you doing, guys?
Great.
Let's pretend like we haven't already been talking for 15 minutes.
I don't know what you're talking about. You do that every time, You pretend that we've had this whole conversation before we start the show.
Yeah,
we would never waste that gold.
No.
We would never waste that.
No, that would be silly. Mm-hmm. And now we'll say, like, we did have a little chat before we started recording, but we have no idea what you're going to talk about. And that's kind of exciting to us because, in Patty we trust.
I have so much faith in our shepherdess.
All right. Well, I honestly did not prepare anything for tonight.
Perfect.
And good night.
I barely thought about it.
Oh my God.
But I did. But at some point a long time ago, I made a list of stuff of mistakes. And so I have that list right here, and I'm going to go through some of them and let you choose what you would like to hear. It's like choose your own adventure.
I hear preparation is like 36% of the whole thing. So we're well on our way. Okay.
I'm going to read you the best ones.
Okay.
Okay.
We're cherry picking here. What's up?
This is under general. I have a general category of mistakes.
Okay.
Drank stream water in Taiwan and puked in restaurant.
Ooh.
I feel like you did
star next to that one.
Yeah. I feel like we might have not buried the lead enough on that. Unless there are some details that just really make it amazing.
Oh, the devils are in the details, baby.
Yes. All right. So I put a star next to that one. This is like in the same vein. Ate too much at dinner and puked in my parents' bathroom.
I think Patty has more puking stories than I do.
This might be an emesis episode. I'm down for this.
I thought I had more puking stories than anybody.
You've got quite a few, and you're a stealth puker. That's what I like about you.
I'm like a ninja.
Okay. Hit squirrel with my Prius, and Mike took a picture. That one, actually, I may not even need to elaborate on that one.
That's all you need to know.
It's all there.
Sometimes the log line is the whole story. You know what I'm saying?
My goodness.
Okay. The time that this isn't really my mistake. This was more Mike's mistake.
That's
you're
another
married
podcast.
to him, right? Mistakes are community property. That's what I say.
The Mike Mistake podcast.
I was involved in the event, but it was his fault.
Okay. Perfect.
He accidentally locked our dog in the closet.
Oh.
Yeah, that's actually kind of sad.
No, it's not.
Maybe not that one.
We don't want to get him arrested.
No.
Okay.
The
mice infestation in our Airstream trailer.
Oh God.
I like that one. I'm big into rodent infestation stories. I am.
I'll star that one.
Okay. Thank you.
That one's not funny.
I like that all of these are like teases. Like some mistaker out there is going to be like, but I want to hear that one.
Right, exactly.
You know
there
what?
You go.
Then you need to send us an email.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
You want to give that email address now?
I do.
Later?
It is mymistakepodcast@gmail.com. Send it there. We'll hear from you.
Oh, okay. All right. So this is the drugs and drinking category.
Ooh.
It's a strong category.
Always a strong one, yeah.
The first time I got drunk, and then in parentheses I have wine coolers at Lehigh.
Oh my. Bartles E. James.
That's actually a pretty good story.
Yeah. Okay. We want to star that one.
Yeah, I put a star next to that.
Okay.
The time I took codeine when I was working in the kitchen of Muffin Madness.
Okay. Muffin Madness? Just based on the strength of Muffin Madness.
Should we just do that one right now?
Yeah, let's hit it.
Really? You don't want to hear the other ones?
Well, I mean.
Okay, let's go. Let's tease them.
How long is this?
Okay, this one, that's too similar.
That was also
too many puking.
It's a lot of getting smoking too much weed and then puking.
Okay. Somewhere I read that weed is supposed to be an antiemetic, which it's supposed to keep you from throwing up.
Yeah, but that's if you don't eat like 1 million tons of food.
Okay.
After you get high, which is something that
I
did a lot.
Me too.
Yeah.
My favorite thing to do. Get high and
eat a bunch. Yeah.
And then eat a bunch of crap.
Also, if you drink alcohol with it, you are sure. I was sure to puke.
Anytime I've allegedly used marijuana, alcohol needs to be involved. Otherwise, my head would go off.
Right. Takes the edge off.
Mm-hmm. Keeps me from. Yeah.
I think maybe you're having a little too much sativa in your weed.
You need to be in the couch, is what I've been
exactly.
told. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I hook you up.
You know what? There are 3 stores in walking distance to me that I could go to.
But maybe Patty's knows like the good stuff.
Maybe.
Maybe we shouldn't put this in the podcast.
No. I mean, it's legal. It's fine.
It's legal where we are. It's not legal federally.
Oh, that's a good point. All right, now John's just showing off.
Yeah.
Look at that. Okay.
You are a show off.
Look at that.
One of those is going in me later.
All right.
I'm just saying.
Hello.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, this one's okay. This is a story. The time I got a ticket for public drinking.
Oh.
In Hoboken.
Anything.
Sure, yeah.
No matter what, if something is just it's almost funny and it's not quite there, put it in Hoboken.
Yeah.
It did happen in Hoboken.
Are you familiar with Daniel Pinkwater?
No.
He's a children's author. He wrote a story or a book, a very small book called The Hoboken Chicken Massacre that I read when I was a very young child. He was a very subversive author, and I recommend anything he wrote. It's great.
Oh,
what's his? Oh, yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. Sex stories.
Always down for that.
Never gonna say no to that.
Mm-hmm.
This one.
I just creeped myself out.
It doesn't.
That was weird.
This is another one of those that's kind of like once you hear the headline, you don't need to read the story.
Okay.
The time I slept with a friend's friend, who had spent time at Rikers.
Oh God, Patty.
Well, okay.
But yeah, that's pretty much the whole story.
That's the story.
I mean, I did that too.
What was he in for?
I think it was like armed robbery.
Okay.
Yeah.
That means the gun was loaded.
Yeah, we didn't have a relationship. It was
no.
Right.
Yeah.
That's fine.
When you did, it only lasted one night, right?
You know what? I'm going to skip over the rest of those.
It's the full. We could have a full sex episode.
Yeah.
Let's move on to the next category. The next category is relationships.
Okay. Yeah, great.
This one I've been begging to tell. Okay. It's the one about hooking up with Tristan. I'm going to call him Tristan because that's what I called him when we talked about the poetry. He was the guy who inspired all of that bad poetry I wrote.
I don't know how we don't do that one.
Well, it's about how I hooked up with him at the Say No to Drugs conference.
Oh,
right. It's got everything.
This.
Yeah. So that one's, I think, a star-worthy one.
Okay.
So you haven't told that story?
No, I have not.
Okay.
It has been teased. I might have even been teased twice, I think.
Yeah, we talked about it a few times.
Mm-hmm,
all right. Well, here's the good news. The good news is you will be back many times. So many times. Stories to talk about.
So many times.
So, I mean, and you tell us, everything you just told us that we put a star by, even the ones that we didn't put a star by, we would be so happy to hear.
Yeah. I feel like we need to go with... Oh, sorry.
Well, I was going to say, what do you feel like telling? Which is calling to you?
I think, I've been itching to tell the Tristan story.
Let's do it.
I think we go with it.
But now I feel like if it's not great, then it's my fault for picking that one.
Oh, it is. It is. Make no mistake.
Okay. You sure you don't want to hear the others?
So Tristan's like a full episode, right?
That's a full episode. Then there's like a bunch of others that I haven't even gotten to yet.
Wow. All right. Well, let's. I think we knocked Tristan off the list, and then we.
Okay.
I love that you have them categorized, so we can.
Really
it's like a built-in theme for our podcast.
No,
don't ever start your own podcast because then we won't have any content. Okay.
No, she is going to start it. It's called the Mike Mistake Podcast.
It's all about the dumb shit that my husband does. No, he never does anything dumb.
No, he's a brilliant man.
He's really,
perfect.
Really smart,
he's so
wonderful
sweet.
guy.
He's one of the sweetest men alive.
Totally perfect.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Let's do the Tristan story. Let's get it out of my system.
Let's knock it out.
Let's hit this.
So he was this guy that I had a crush on from pretty much like sophomore year on.
Okay. So 15 is what we're looking at approximately. Yeah.
And he was like, kind of popular, I guess. Like he was like in the sort of preppy popular crowd. So they were all like, they all shopped at Abercrombie and Fitch, and
polos.
And they wore loafers with no socks and like little ankle bracelets and
now, loafers or boat shoes? I'm curious.
I'm sorry, boat shoes.
Thank you, because we're of a similar generation, and I'm with
you. The Preppy Handbook.
Exactly. I owned a copy. I did. Look, a book for us, Muffy. I think that was the tag under the title.
Well, Tristan was like, he was definitely of that ilk, and so he and his popular friends, I wasn't really that close to them, but he and I always had this little kind of flirtation, and the problem was that he was always going out with other girls, and there was one girl that he dated in like senior year who was just like so unpleasant, like nobody liked her except for her friends, her like little clique of friends.
Yeah.
But other than that, she was just kind of like bitchy, and she was like resting bitch face, like the perfect example of resting bitch face.
I feel like every high school has like a bitchy popular girl, like, I mean, you're like, okay, she's fine. Like she'll look, but yeah, just like, it's like, wow, this person's super unpleasant. They've bullied other people into liking them, I think.
Well, it's not even, I wouldn't even say that she was bitchy.
Yeah.
She was more
I
just
thought you
kind
said
of,
that.
well, no, she had resting bitch face.
Okay.
But she wasn't bitchy per se. She was more just sort of sullen.
Ooh.
Okay.
Wow. A brooding popular girl. I gotta say,
surly.
I haven't seen one of those.
Surly.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, better.
Okay.
I like her.
But yeah, so that just made the whole situation like more difficult, because like I had a crush on this guy, but he was going out with the surly popular girl, and they were all kind of, happy and rich together. And
did popularity go along with wealth in your high school?
Not necessarily.
Okay, yeah, because it didn't in mine, and it was a fairly wealthy school system. But yeah, there were definitely exceptions. Yeah.
She was wealthy. I don't think he was not that wealthy, but he dressed the part, and he was cute. He was good looking.
Right.
That makes up for a lot.
I mean, tell me about it. I've dealt with that my whole life.
So anyway, it wasn't until he kind of broke up with that girl. Let's just call her Sarah.
Perfect.
Okay, perfect.
So he broke up with Sarah for a little bit. It was like one of those breakups where you kind of got the feeling they were going to get back together, especially because they were in the same like close-knit group of friends, and so they saw each other all the time. And but there was like a short period of time where they were officially broken up.
So were they on a break? Is that
they were yes, indeed, they were on a break.
It's so fun for me to say that to you specifically, and if anybody doesn't know why, they can try to figure it out. But
Google it.
I had nothing to do with that phrase, by the way.
Oh, bummer. Okay.
It predated my involvement by a lot. So yes, they were on a break, and then we were seniors at the time, and I was one of my extracurriculars was I was a peer counselor. Have you guys ever heard of that, or have you done that, or?
I've heard of it.
Yeah, like I feel like I've just heard of it. I don't.
You get like assigned an younger student that you have to like kind of mentor and stuff.
Yeah, they don't even necessarily have to be younger. Because I think it was like anybody could come to you, even if they were the same grade as you.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
But the idea is that it's just somebody who is in your peer group that you can talk to about your problems. And if you didn't feel comfortable talking about it with a guidance counselor, for instance.
Now, do you have peer counselor patient privilege? Like you can't repeat anything that they tell you to anyone else?
I don't remember them giving us any rules or training whatsoever.
There was no training?
I don't think so. So
I love it. People are actually coming to you to talk about their problems, and you're just like, okay.
Whatever, dude.
Wow. Did you hear so-and-so peed his pants?
Get that checked out, I guess.
He's a sophomore.
They did not take it seriously.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, perfect.
But I mean, that was one of the reasons I did it, because it was like, oh, this is so easy. Like, I don't have to do any work, and I get
Did
to
you get
put
like
it
a credit for it?
Yeah, well, you get to put it on your, college application.
Oh, it's an extracurricular or something. Yeah, I got you.
So yeah, I was a peer counselor. Nobody ever came to see me except for like 2 friends of mine, and they would come just to chit chat. Like no one came to me.
Office hours?
Yeah,
you like had office.
Now I know. Now I know why you did psychiatric help 10 cents.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's
that
really
makes perfect
funny.
sense. Mm-hmm.
Huh.
You were Lucy at Burning Man.
Yeah, but when I was in high school, like nobody ever came to my office hours. So it was a total crock of shit. And but there were other people who did the same. They were also peer counselors. Mm-hmm. And one weekend there was this Say No to Drugs conference that all the peer counselors were invited to attend.
Oh, okay.
And it was going to be this overnight trip. We all had to go to the Ramada Inn on Route 10.
It's always a Ramada. Why is it always a Ramada?
And they just had these like seminars about drugs and how to avoid drugs and what horrible things drugs do to your brain and your body. And
sure.
So I went to this thing, and I mean, quite honestly, like the only reason I wanted to go was because Tristan was gonna go, because he was also a peer counselor.
Oh, nice.
So I didn't care at all about the curriculum or any of it. But when I found out that he was going, I was like, oh, this is my opportunity, right? Because we're gonna be like away from home. I mean, even though it was just like 10 minutes away from home.
It's still
we're at a Ramada.
Yeah.
Where you're at a hotel, right? Perfect place to hook up.
Mm-hmm.
And things
this
had
sounds
been
like a disaster. Like whose idea was this? This is a terrible idea. Send a bunch of teenagers to go talk. It doesn't matter what they're talking about. Of course, everyone's gonna have sex.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's
a terrible
their
idea.
Hormones are percolating. It's just you're not gonna avoid it.
So bad.
It's a terrible idea.
What a mistake.
But I mean, most of the kids who went were really good kids, and they behaved
they want to
themselves.
Have sex too.
Of course they do. Yeah, of course they do. But
I have questions already. I'll write them down. You continue, please.
Kat's good about writing down her questions. I just interrupt you and ask right away.
Feel free to interrupt anytime.
Okay. All right.
I always do.
Yeah, you don't have to tell John twice.
So we go to this thing, and there's like classes all day long, right? Like all these seminars about drugs, and I swear to God, I went to like maybe 2 classes like the entire weekend.
Okay.
I blew off most of it, and nobody cared, like no one was taking attendance at these things.
Like sign in or anything?
No.
This is a disaster.
Any conference or anything I've ever been to, like the only people who actually go to all the stuff are like the nerds you don't want to hang out with.
Exactly.
All the cool people are blowing it off and going and doing other stuff.
Yeah.
But this is how young and innocent I was at this tender age of 17, or I guess it was 17.
Careful, we could get statutory here. If we're not.
You were 18.
Tristan said, he said something about psychedelic mushrooms. And I laughed, because I was like, I thought he was making that up. Like, I didn't know. Honestly did not know what psychedelic mushrooms were.
You didn't go to that seminar?
No. She blew it off. Well, that's why she didn't know.
Exactly.
Yep.
Right.
Yep. So yeah, he and I, we we started like flirting and stuff. Like we had been flirting for years, but like we got to this thing and we started flirting. One thing led to another. And I remember going to my room in the middle of one of these seminars. We just like left.
Amazing.
And we went to my room to make out. And so I was sharing a room with 3 other girls.
Oh.
That all of the hotel rooms had 4 people in them.
Oh.
2 to a bed.
2 queen beds. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yep.
And they were obviously like not co-ed rooms. Like these were, the girls stayed with girls, the boys stayed with boys. And in fact, I think the boys were even like on a different end of the hall.
Oh yeah, that'll stop everything from happening.
Sure. Yeah.
They were
That's
like
all it takes, a little air gap between the
the other wing of the hotel. So he
They'll
comes
never
to
find each other.
I went on so many of these trips, and it was never hard at all to get into somebody else's room.
Always hooking up.
Because the chauffeurs were always like off having their own party or whatever.
Chauffeurs.
Yeah.
Chauffeurs or the chaperones?
Those, the ones that start with CH. I don't know.
A very high class, high school.
I'm from Carmel, Indiana. We don't fuck around. We have drivers, okay? Chaperones, chauffeurs.
You know what? I don't remember any chaperones at this trip.
Oh my God.
I mean, there must have been. I just don't remember interacting with them.
I think parents just hear it's an anti-drug thing, and they're probably very responsible about making sure everybody. Not.
Only the good kids go to those.
I can't believe chauffeurs.
Yeah.
It's okay, John.
That's the stupidest fucking
thing
I've done on this podcast.
You're in your room with Tristan.
So I'm in my room with Tristan, and we're making out, and I'm trying to think of what happened in that room that I can share.
I mean, wait a minute.
Well, I mean,
we have an unspoken compact here that, like, if you're going to tell the story, you're going to tell the story.
Okay,
right?
yeah.
Okay, well, don't make her uncomfortable.
No, I'm not trying to. No. Yeah.
I mean, no, honestly, it really wasn't. It's not like I'm trying to hide something. I mean, most of it is just that my memory is. I mean, this was like many years ago, guys. Like,
yeah, of course.
I'm betting that 2 17-year-olds didn't invent some kind of new way of doing these things.
Yeah, we can imagine.
We made out. We did some petting, but like we did not.
I hate that term. Just cringe. Petting. Ugh.
Petting. Call it hand stuff. Let's call it what it is. Get some hand stuff. Is that better? Is that not better? I don't know. Maybe not. Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Petting is a very 50s kind of term.
But was it heavy petting?
it was pretty heavy.
How heavy was it?
Where's the dividing line between petting and heavy petting? Seriously, like, is that third base?
I think so. I would say third base is what you call it. You start to call it heavy.
Becomes heavy. All right, fair.
But we didn't get that far. We were, part of it was just that this was like the first time that we kissed, you guys, like the first time.
Right. Okay.
So, we were still getting to know each other a little bit, like in this sense, and plus, like, we were in the middle of a seminar, so we didn't know if somebody was going to come back to the room, and because the other girls, my roommates, they had keys to the room.
Right. Yeah, but there's a deadbolt. You can do the little chain or the, yeah. Come on.
Oh well. Anyway, we knew we didn't have that much time, so we were just sort of like, getting to know each other.
Right.
And
through petting.
Yeah. And then that night I was like, okay, well, this is what we're gonna do. I'm like, I'm gonna come get you after my roommates have gone to sleep. Okay. And then you can come into my room and we will sleep on the floor and no one will notice.
Your 3 roommates are not going to notice that there's a dude with you on the floor.
I was an idiot, you guys. Come on. This is why it's
17
it's
everybody is. Yeah.
This was your plan?
I was horny.
Did you guys not have cars? Was there no cars?
I'm assuming they took a bus to the Ramada.
Yeah, I think we were. Well, no, actually, I had my car there, but I didn't want to go to. I didn't want to go to my car.
Okay.
Like that's so uncomfortable.
You're right.
Dude, that's the only place anything ever happened for me before I was 19. So.
You should definitely do it 3 feet from 3 of your friends. That's way more comfortable.
Mm-hmm. They weren't my friends. These were okay. Let me explain. One of them I was kind of friends with, but not really. Like we were friendly.
Got it.
But she was another girl from my school, so I knew her from school. The other 2 roommates were from a different school.
Oh,
so we had just met them. And they didn't seem that cool, to be honest.
Wait, people who are peer counselors meeting at an anti-drug convention, they're not cool?
If you say so.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I didn't know them all that well, and so I carried out this plan, got Tristan, brought him back in, and it seemed like all my roommates were asleep. And so we were on the floor in between the 2 beds.
Brilliant.
Not even like in the bathtub or
on the other side. So like
no.
Wall. No.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Nope. Right in there.
Okay.
So we're right in there, and we're just continuing our I'm not going to use the word. That's like bracing.
Weird.
She's bracing herself.
Some HP going on between the 2 beds.
Bracing herself for it. Yeah, so we continued with the trajectory that we were on.
Yeah, as you do.
We still did not I don't think we got past third base. Like, I honestly don't think we did not. Because I'm not an exhibitionist. So, so that happened.
Oh my God.
And then the next day was the last day, and we wrapped up the conference and we left, and I took him home, and I took him back to.
So you drove him?
I drove him home to his house.
Okay.
And I'm pretty sure that's when we sealed the deal.
Ah.
Okay.
Yeah, because we went back
at
his house.
Oh.
Yeah, because we went back to his house, and I think it was his mom was at work or something.
Okay.
And so
conditions are perfect.
Yeah, we had the house to ourselves. So we went to his room, and this time we had proper sex because we were alone. And
proper sex.
Was it prim and proper?
But yeah, so I guess I was thinking maybe this was going to be the beginning of a relationship. I was kind of hoping it was going to be the beginning.
Yeah.
So, but I think mostly for me it was like this was the culmination of a lot of fantasizing, and I mean, you guys read those poems.
Oh yeah, and they're mostly about Tristan, right?
Yeah. I had wanted him for so long, and there was this long drawn out flirtation, and so to finally be able to consummate that was
big deal,
pretty awesome.
Now, was that your first time?
No,
or just first time with him? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and it wasn't his first time because I think he had done it quite a bit with
resting bitch face.
With resting bitch face with Sarah. But anyway, so after that, we, the next, I think it was, the next day or the next school day, we go to school, and I'm in the middle of, one of my classes. And suddenly I get summoned to go to the office.
What?
Yes, I get summoned to the guidance office. So I'm like, holy shit. Like the whole way I'm walking to the office, I'm going like, shit. Get to the office. I see Tristan making the same walk of shame towards the office. We had this like open campus like you would have in a place like California, except we were in a climate that is not like California.
Right.
So it sucked most of the year. Anyway, but this was the spring, so it was nice out. And I see him like walking across the grass, like of the campus, like towards the guidance office. I'm like, oh shit. And it's just us, just me and him. We're the only ones being summoned. Can
I make a prediction?
Yeah.
Somebody wasn't asleep.
That is right. You're correct.
We can cut that if we want. I don't want to mess with your momentum or anything like that. I just had to show how clever I am.
You're a genius, John.
Oh, right.
So we get to the guy, we sit down in the guidance counselor's office, and this is like the head guidance counselor, and it's her and like and at least one other guidance counselor, and me and Tristan,
right,
sitting in front of their desk, and they just were like, we got some information that you were, Tristan, you were in Patty's room at the Say No to Drugs convention. And, and I'm like, the whole time I'm just like trying to figure out who it was. And I'm like, it's those fucking girls from the other school. Cause I think that the girl that from my school she wasn't cool, but she was cool enough to know not to fucking tattle.
Yeah. You gotta keep your lips tight.
Yeah. The other two, they were, I think I found out for sure later that they had been like gossiping about it. When they got back to their school, they're like, this girl, from Hanover Park with So yeah, I'm just sitting there stewing, but also just totally mortified. I mean, I've never been so embarrassed, I mean, I was a good student. I was a good kid. I did not get in trouble for anything. And to be in trouble like this for something that was like sexual in nature was just the most humiliating. It was so humiliating.
It's brutal.
Oh, yeah. And I don't remember everything that they said because I think
you were traumatized.
Because I blocked it out.
Yeah. And all of this is happening in front of your crush, who is having to go through this, with you. Ugh.
Yeah.
Brutal.
Yeah. And that kind of thing can either bond you, like, sort of shared trauma, and it could bring you closer, or it can just be sort of like this embarrassing thing that you're never going to overcome.
Yeah, because you associate that problem with that person, and it's like, okay, let's just push this aside. I hope that's not what happened.
Well, not exactly, but also it didn't bond us really.
Right. Okay.
I mean, maybe like just in the moment, but he was being so cool about it because he was just way cooler than me. And I was just crumbling from under the pressure of this like humiliation. And so I'm sweating and I'm like, nothing happened. And, I actually said nothing happened.
Oh. The thing is, he's a dude and we don't get in trouble for sexual things. We get congratulated. Women get shamed.
Yeah, but you don't get congratulated by your teachers or your peer guidance counselors.
We get winks. Oh, boys will be boys. I mean, it's totally okay. But that girl should not have been involved in that. No.
Well,
I hate to tell you, it really is that way. It's like,
You may be right. You may be right. But in this instance, the guidance counselors who were lecturing us were not giving him winks.
Right. Okay.
These women were pissed.
For the record.
These women were pissed off about the whole situation. They did not approve of it whatsoever.
Sure.
But here's the thing. I was like, in my, clumsy attempt to defend myself, and I was saying like, oh, nothing happened. I do remember this thing that one of the guidance counselors said. When I said nothing happened, she goes, look, we don't care what you do sexually.
Oh shit!
Oh god!
But
not a line you ever want to hear.
But this was against the rule. The fact that you had a guy in your room was against the rules.
Huh. Mm-hmm.
But I was like, that was just so humiliating to have this, essentially my teacher saying, like, yeah, whatever you do in the bedroom is your
it's your business.
Here's the thing. That's such bullshit. That's such bullshit, because if they didn't care what you did sexually, they wouldn't care that the boy was in the room, because the only reason they don't want the boy in the room is that sexual things are going to happen.
Yeah. Right? It's not like we were playing Scrabble in the corner. You know what I mean?
No, it was not. You were petting heavily.
Yeah. It was very hypocritical of them to say that, but I think they said that because they didn't want to seem like prudes. So
yeah, and they also didn't want to hear what actually did happen.
They didn't want details. Yeah, we don't need to know the details.
Nope.
But then afterwards, after this horrible meeting, when I finally got a chance to talk to Tristan alone, he was basically like, why did you even say anything? Because he knew, like, you just play it cool. Like, don't fucking say anything. Like, you say something, you're just digging yourself deeper.
Right.
They already know what happened. You don't need to talk about it. Like, just be cool.
Just be cool.
I wish I could remember. There's a Mark Twain quote, something about, like, if you say nothing, people might think you're an idiot, but if you open your mouth, you just remove any doubt.
Yes, this is why defendants don't take the stand.
If they're guilty.
Right, exactly. So we got in trouble, and honestly, nothing happened to us. Like, it's not like we had to do detention or or anything like that. It was
there's no punishment. There's no consequences. They just wanted you to know
it's
that
the
we
mortification.
know.
Yeah.
I think the consequence was you have to sit here and listen to us humiliate you.
Yeah.
But
shame
I don't
is
remember
a big deterrent. Yeah.
Sure.
Absolutely. Yeah. But I don't believe there were any, like actual, material consequences. Like, we didn't get punished in any way other than that.
Yeah.
So that was the say no to drugs thing. But I mean, here's what happened. I'll tell you, like, I'll recap sort of like how the rest of my relationship with Tristan went.
Perfect.
Please do.
So after that situation happened, I think we might have had sex like once or twice after that. But I started to really get the feeling like he was blowing me off. And then I spent a lot of time being mad about that. Sure. So all of this energy that I had put for like the last 2 years that I had put into fantasizing about him and chasing him, and flirting with him, then got turned into that fucking asshole. How dare he have sex with me and then blow me off? And I do remember this one time, like, I invited him to a party that some friends of mine and I were going to, and he blew me off like once again. And I just remember getting super drunk at this party and deciding that, like, with my friend, that we were gonna take the garbage from the party, like full of all the empty beer cans and stuff, and bring it over to Tristan's house and deposit it on his lawn.
Oh my God. That's a good prank. That's pretty good.
Oh yeah, we did it.
You followed through.
We followed through, but now I feel bad because it's like his mom was probably the one who had to deal with the garbage bags.
It's not like she thought, oh, well, you had a party on our front yard while we were home and we didn't know. Yeah. Nope.
Yeah. So, but it's better than, boiling his rabbit or something.
Oh yeah. Bunny boiler is a no-go. You don't want to go there.
I never got that far.
No.
That's good, Patty.
I I may have gone over to his house a few times and tried to throw a rock at the window or something. But
oh boy,
wow.
My thing, it's so funny. I was so tame. I would drive by someone's house a lot, but I would never get out and throw a rock at the window.
Yeah, but what if they had sex with you and then started to blow you off?
I see. Yeah, I don't know.
I won't be ignored, Dan.
Yes, really scary.
Yes, that was fantastic.
That was amazing.
Wow. See, here's the thing. You got activated far earlier. Well, actually, no, I'm not going to say you got activated earlier. You actually acted on your activation earlier than I think both Kat and I were later in life. Yeah. High school was long gone, other than some hand stuff.
Speak for yourself, sir.
All that happened to me in high school. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, but see, this is why this actually is good. Because when you're in high school, you are not mature enough emotionally to deal with this
anything.
with anything.
Mm-hmm.
No.
So if you were like me and you were having sex when you were still in this immature stage, that gets you into a lot of problems. It's like you end up getting your heart broken.
Sure.
And it sucks.
I think you always end up getting your heart broken. You can end up with a child, which is worst case scenario.
Some people,
just you make another person.
We were careful. We didn't do that.
This is good. So you were that mature at least.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But with the garbage thing, and there was this one time I came over to his house to look for him, and he wasn't home, but his mom was. So she was super cool. So she invited me in, and we were hanging out and talking about her job and stuff. And I'm like, oh my God, she's so cool. She'd make a great mother-in-law,
Wow. At 17,
she was like a single mom, but she was a doctor.
Oh, man.
Yeah, she was super cool.
That's like an 80s sitcom right there.
She was way cooler than he was, to be honest,
Yeah, sounds like it.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, she was talking to me about my, because I was going to be going to Cornell, and she's like, oh, Cornell. She's like, I have the cookbook from Ithaca called the Moosewood. There's a famous restaurant in Ithaca called the Moosewood restaurant, and it was vegetarian, and
oh wow.
Yeah, it was one of those early hippie restaurants, and they became so big or so popular that they came out with several cookbooks, Moosewood cookbooks, and they're all vegetarian food.
Nice.
And she happened to have this vegetarian cookbook on her bookshelf right there.
Pretty cool.
And she shows it to me, and I'm like, this woman rocks. But yeah, so I didn't so we did not have the relationship that I dreamed we were going to have. He ended up going back to Sarah eventually.
Sure.
Could have called that one. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we kind of went our separate way. Everybody graduated. We went our separate ways. Didn't really talk to him again until my junior year of college. I was up in Ithaca, and it was wintertime, and he was coming to the area for a ski trip with his friends. So he got in touch with me. And he's like, hey, do you have time to hang out? And I was like, sure. Now, this is after I was having a really long dry spell.
I never, this is how dumb I was as a young person. I didn't realize women even thought about things like dry spells.
Yeah.
Yeah, John, women don't talk about sex or think about sex or really
or want to have sex. Yeah. No, not at all.
Leah and I are just friends.
Oh, really?
It's just cheaper to live
your
together.
wife,
Really?
who you did marriage with?
That's who I'm
At
talking
least that's what you tell your parents.
Well, that was her parents,
That was
right?
funny.
That was her dad.
Oh, right. he did. Yep. He called, well, it was before we got married.
It was a long time ago.
This is not Robert's mistakes, John.
No, it's not.
This is Mike's mistake.
Robert.
Everything's fine.
Everything's fine. Everything's good. Mm-hmm. So, all right. So you've had a long dry spell.
Okay, yeah. So I was in the middle of a dry spell. This is in my junior year, and I was like, great. Tristan's coming to town. Perfect. I'm not going to have to work that hard, and I'm going to get laid.
Nice.
Again, this concept is alien to me. I'm like, women have to work to get laid?
Sometimes, yeah. Okay. Sometimes you do.
Fair.
If you're at all choosy, yes.
If you have any sort of standards.
If you have any standards at all, you do have to work at it. But yeah, so I had just been striking out a lot with people that I was into. And so, yeah, I was like, this is great. This is like, it's just falling into my lap. Cause there's no way he would have called me if that wasn't on his mind.
Right.
So I was like, great, let's get together. And, he came over to the house that I was living in and in College Town. And, he was still very preppy. You know, this is like years later. He was still really preppy.
Preppy lasted a while. Like
it did.
Yeah. It was like a 10 or 12 year thing.
It was kind of like in his DNA, you know? Mm-hmm. But yes, he was very preppy. He was like in a frat. He was just he was not my type at all. Like, and, you know, anymore. Like it was just, we had really, our paths had diverged a lot. And so I, you know, was like hanging out with like sort of the arty crowd, and wore black all the time, and you know,
beret.
And oh God, no. Well,
I had to see how far it went. That's all.
I had a few hats that were kind of beretish.
Okay, all right, a little beretic.
Yeah, a little beretic. But so yeah, it was a very weird thing when we got together, because it was sort of like the odd couple, you know, like yeah, it was very strange, but you know, we still had that connection, we still had that physical sort of.
You powered through.
John's making a obscene.
I don't know what you're talking about. I did nothing. Rude. I did nothing. It's not.
John, Patty is a lady.
Two different.
We don't act this way in front of ladies.
I'm sorry. Forgive me.
So
I was crass.
So we start, you know, making out, and at this point, I sort of realized that I had been doing this experiment for the last couple of months where I just stopped shaving my armpits.
I love this story so much.
I'm loving it.
I don't know. It wasn't like some sort of a feminist statement. You know, a lot of women did that in my school. They would stop shaving because it was a feminist statement. I was more doing it just out of curiosity, because I'm like, I don't think I've seen my armpit hair longer than like 1/8 of an inch in years.
Right.
Sure.
And I'm like, I just wonder what it looks like. So I let it grow out. You know, I figured like this is the perfect time for it, because it's winter, you know, I'm not wearing tank tops, and I was having, like I said, I was having a dry spell. Nobody was seeing my armpits. Well, until Tristan came over. And then I realized, oh crap, I didn't shave my armpits.
When did you remember? How far into the petting?
I don't remember. Okay. I mean, I think it was before we got undressed, but at that point it was either run to the bathroom and try to surreptitiously shave, which would just be very time consuming.
It would be time consuming.
Well,
how long are we talking?
Especially because at this point now, it's been like 2 months, right? So my armpit, just to answer the question of I wonder what my armpit hair looks like. It's long and straight.
Okay. Yep.
It's not at all attractive.
Is anybody's armpit hair like straight on attractive? Is it? Even dudes, like, is it?
No, you're right.
Okay. Yeah.
But you know, there's a certain we're used to seeing certain types of body hair, and you know, when you see armpit hair, like because we live in you know, a culture where a society where a lot of people are not Asian. You know, I got used to seeing armpit hair that was like curly and sort of wiry and compact and or like fluffy, you know.
Okay.
My armpit hair wasn't like that at all. I mean, you can see the hair on my head. It's very straight. That's what my armpit hair looked like. It was super straight. And being caught like between my arm and my torso, it got even straighter. It was like putting a flat iron on it.
Did you try a curling iron, like to counteract? You know, why not? Big braid it, yeah. You know. Get dreads.
Maybe a barrette.
I am so going to regret talking about this.
No, never. You never are.
On.
Nope.
So yeah, it was really unattractive armpit hair, and I was like, either I go to the bathroom and try to trim it and then shave it, and you know, do this without him knowing what I'm doing, you know. And totally, like, that would just interrupt the whole proceedings, right? Or I can just be honest with him, you know, just be upfront about it and say, hey, I just remembered.
Oh, because that's not fucking weird. Okay, go ahead, sorry. Hey, you know, listen, by the way,
just so you know, you're gonna encounter something that you probably haven't seen before.
Oh, no.
I'm not like other girls, Tristan.
Oh no, a lot's changed.
But you know what? I told him, and to his credit, he handled it really well.
Go, Tristan.
You know,
I mean, okay, like, what does that mean? He didn't like run away. Like, what's he better?
He's facing the prospect of getting laid. Like,
right?
You know,
but I mean, yeah,
it's not like you told him you had a penis growing out of your back or something. Like that's something I wouldn't expect to see.
Right. I would not expect to see that. Like, but it does add to the possible permutations of the act. I'm just saying.
Oh my God.
I think you're giving him a little too much credit here, is what I'm trying to say.
Well, I'm just saying that, you know, there are a lot of responses a person could have to that, or they could laugh at you, or like what you just said. You were like, Patty, that's weird. You know, he could have said that, but he was like, no, he's like, that's cool, whatever. So we got past that. We got past that hurdle. And so once we get into bed and we're getting undressed, I noticed that he had a tattoo that he did not have before.
Okay.
And the tattoo was right down near his junk.
Okay.
And it was his fraternity letters.
No.
Jeez.
And I was just like, ew.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah. After he forgave you for that armpit hair, you're gonna you should have.
But did I have sex with him anyway? Sure.
Of course. You'd had a dry spell. Come on.
After all of that, yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
So yeah, that was the last time we saw each other.
Oh, ever in life at all?
Yep.
Wow. No class reunions? Or...
Yeah, you haven't heard
No,
from him
I never go to those things.
Yeah.
Well, to be honest, I make it sound like it's my choice. I don't get invited to them.
I don't either.
I don't think
I don't know if they're even happening for me anymore. Like, it's like, I'm coming up on, I graduated in 88, right? So like my next one is going to be what? Holy crap. Like 40 years?
Yep.
In 2028. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, I graduated in 89, so it's almost the same.
Right.
But I know that my high school has had many reunions, and I've never
doing it. Like,
but I never get invited.
Well,
all it takes is whoever's in charge of the committee, like that's who decides. Like, oh, we got to find this person.
Well, I think the person who was running that committee.
Is it resting bitch face?
No.
Okay.
But almost the same as that. It was somebody who had dated a guy who I also hooked up while he was on a break with her.
You were finding these dudes on breaks. You know what I'm saying?
We're on a break, Patty, over here. Good for you.
Whew. Well, you know what? Let me amend that because I didn't actually hook up with that guy until we got to college.
Okay.
But when we were in high school, we had a crush on each other. Like that was pretty obvious. And I think she knew that. And so even though I never actually dated him or anything like that, like in high school, I think she knew that there was something between us, you know, some attraction between us. And so she didn't like me for that reason.
Sure.
So yeah, I didn't get invited when she was the head of that committee, but honestly, I don't think she's still the head of that committee, and I still don't get invited.
She removed you from the list.
Probably.
That's what's
You've been erased.
I'd like to take this moment to admit something to both of you.
Oh no.
I considered pledging a fraternity in college, and
I could see that.
Thanks. I don't like that at all.
No, I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean that you know, as you are wont to remind the audience, you are from the Midwest. You talk about that a lot. It's a big part of your identity.
Right.
And you know, you went to Ball State. I mean, I haven't
the Harvard of Muncie.
Right. And I haven't been there, but I would assume that the Greek system is a big thing there. No?
Only for the men. Sororities were not allowed to have houses. Only fraternities. God. Yeah, no, it's like, I mean, how? Yeah, no, it's awful. It was awful. I don't know if it's still like that. But here's the thing, like, I went and because there was someone who had recommended that I go and check out this particular fraternity. And I went there and they greeted me warmly and they treated me nice. But it was like, basically, I went to see them earlier in the day and I was like, okay, I have early classes tomorrow, so I gotta chill out. They proceeded to ply me with booze and weed to the point where I don't remember how I got back to my dorm room. And I absolutely slept through like half of my classes the next day. Wow. And I said to myself, this could be a lot of fun if I'm willing to flunk out of college.
Right.
So, and that fraternity got like shut down because of hazing and all kinds of horrible stuff.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, no, they got like put on double secret probation.
Oh, that was like the animal house.
It was the animal house of the Harvard of Muncie. Yeah. Yep. Which is why I did not actually say the name. I didn't say SIGEPS. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm glad that you didn't go that direction.
Me too. It also didn't fit with, like, nothing about that world fit with the way that I thought of myself. Mm-hmm. I was an artist. I was going to make it as a big film star.
Yeah. Now, artsy people don't join fraternities.
No.
Or sororities.
Really. Some do. There's usually like a token.
Really?
Oh yeah. It's weird. It's always weird. But yeah, they're the ones who like paint the signs, make the banners.
you make the invitations to the party.
Go over there and do the
Like we need some artistic brothers so that they can just do the signs for our party.
Paint that sign.
Yeah. There's like they don't have there's no Kinkos, like they can't just like get a sign.
There wasn't back then. No,
really?
It's
like hand painted signs.
Yeah.
Wow.
Totally, they all were. It was like And so that's after that day, I'm like, I'm going Gamma Delta Iota. That's where I'm at. So that's goddamn independent, by the way.
Oh,
GBI.
Oh, funny.
It's only funny to me, really. I think. Yeah.
Well, one more footnote to the story.
Oh, please. Yes.
Even though I never saw Tristan again, I heard through the grapevine that he turned out to be gay.
No.
Yep.
Go
really?
Figure. Mm-hmm. Well, just to compound on that, I want you to know we have a surprise for you. We have Tristan on the line.
John, let him in.
Okay, here we go. Oh wait.
That would
what
be
happened?
Amazing.
Oh no. his internet. It's no, he seemed to drop out. I read it for a second.
Can you imagine?
That would be so great.
Wouldn't that be amazing?
Yeah.
Patty Lin, this is your life.
That would be so fun.
Interesting. Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
Huh.
It happens.
I mean, I had some questions and
yes, please. Questions.
They're not all great. I will ask you, I think, the most interesting one.
Okay.
So you went back to Tristan's house and his doctor mom was not home.
Mm-hmm.
So you went into his room. How clean was his room?
It wasn't that clean, but it wasn't like a pigsty.
Okay.
Like I honestly don't even really remember the cleanliness of the room.
Okay.
This is why men date younger women, because they don't notice stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Why do you ask? I'm curious.
Because I mean, unless he anticipated bringing a girl home on that Sunday night, I'm guessing an average teenage boy's room is a fucking mess.
Right.
I'm going to say circa 1988, a preppy boy in this.
Was preppy.
His mom was cleaning his room for him. So
interesting.
That's true.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
It certainly isn't because I was like that too. I can't identify.
I mean, I honestly don't think it was. I don't remember it being like immaculate or anything like that. It was just sort of nondescript.
It wasn't a trash heap.
No.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I do remember he had a condom.
Oh.
He had a condom in his, dresser drawer.
Good for him.
And I remember him telling me that his mother gave it to him.
His mom, the doctor.
His mom rocked. Yeah. She was so
cool.
So cool.
She was cool.
Yep.
She was like, look, I know you're going to have sex, so just use this.
Mm-hmm.
Use this.
So cool.
Here's a banana. I'm going to show you how.
Single use. Was that conference you went to, Patty? You think that was taxpayer dollars paying for you to go do that? Maybe people paying for you to do that.
Ooh.
Just curious.
Well, at least I learned a lot about drugs later on.
Sure. You gotta do drugs to learn about drugs.
You were very committed.
I actually, you know what? I remember they gave us a quiz at some point towards the end, and I did very badly because I didn't go to any of the lectures. So
you thought magic mushrooms were made up.
Yeah, but I do remember that Tristan did really well, and it wasn't because he went to the classes.
Mm-hmm. He'd been doing a little investigation of his own.
I mean, listen, Tristan doesn't sound all bad.
He was doing it. He was doing his own research.
Kind of a cool guy.
He was cool. He was just an asshole.
No, I still don't like him. I still don't like him.
It sounds like maybe he was confused throughout the whole thing, right?
He might have been.
Yeah.
Who isn't? Maybe that was just me.
I kind of wasn't. I'm sorry.
Oh, is that just...
It's just you. Right. Sorry, Kat. I mean, you and many millions of other people, just not in this Zoom talk right now. Mm-hmm.
I have a little side story.
Please.
It has nothing to do with Tristan or having sex at peer counseling seminars. When you mentioned that you and your friend went and it was not really a prank. You were kind of just fucking with him. But when you dumped a bunch of trash on his thing.
Yeah.
Over the Christmas break, I mentioned that one of my brother's old friends from high school came over and we got to spend some time with him and his family. And he told a story of when him and a couple of their buddies snuck over to our house. We lived with a very steep driveway and they were going to teepee the house. Just to fuck with my buddy, my brother John. And they said there was 3 guys. Kelly and 3 guys. They made it up the driveway. And right before Kelly could throw that first roll of toilet paper, my dad comes out the front door with his gun.
No!
Oh my God.
He's got a 38.
Oh God.
I bet they shot themselves. They needed that TV for something else.
They ran like hell.
Wow.
They said one of the guys fell down the driveway and they just kept driving. They left him. And guess how many more times my house got TP'd? 0.
Did your dad hear them on the driveway?
My dad could hear a fucking pin drop. It was so hard to sneak in and out of the house because where my dad grew up and the time that my dad grew up, there was just a lot of violence going on. There was always people getting in fights and, people's houses getting broken into.
So Pops was orally hypervigilant.
Oh, yeah, no. And, I could tell you where the gun is today and it's loaded and it's ready to go. Like, my dad has never let that go.
Has he used the gun, to your knowledge?
No. Thank God, no, Patty.
I hope he cleans it occasionally.
I doubt it. Oh, God. Yeah.
He probably doesn't even remember how to use it at this point.
I don't want to think about that, Patty. Now that I think about it, this isn't a great story. This could end. This might not age well.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway,
it's not you, it's your dad.
I'm sure it's fine.
But by the way, when you were setting that up that story, and you said, "Oh, when I dropped the trash on Tristan's lawn," I didn't even dump the contents of the bag on the lawn. I just put the whole bag.
You just threw the whole bag?
I just threw the whole bag because I was worried that somebody was going to see me emptying the bag and catch me. So
you just took up a little extra space in their trash can that week.
I know.
You gave them recycling to go exchange for money.
That's what a scaredy cat I was.
Oh.
I was like, I don't want to get in trouble for this, so I'm just gonna make it a little inconvenient for them.
Yeah. And by the way, Kat, in '88, we weren't recycling shit.
Yeah, fair. Sorry.
Right.
No.
Yeah.
True.
Fair enough.
Good stuff.
Wow.
So there you go.
Well, listen, I think that worked out. I think that story was pretty good.
You don't have any more questions? That's it?
No, I mean, they're not good.
I feel like we need.
You said it was Just Say No, right? It wasn't Dare.
It wasn't Dare.
Right? That was before Dare,
what?
maybe? Do you know of Dare?
Ooh. I do know Dare. I don't think Dare was involved in this
thing.
Dare was like a little late for us, I think. Okay. It was like, it started in like the 90, 91 era, I think.
I mean, my sixth grade class, we were the first ones in our school to do Dare.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, so that was later. But
see, that's why I should
but yeah, so but remember, Say No to Drugs, like that was the
Nancy Reagan.
What everybody was the Nancy Reagan thing, and that was, everybody knew that phrase, and so that was kind of like what you would say, about the anti-drug movement is the Say No to Drugs.
Yeah.
So
Arnold from oh Lord, Different Strokes. They had Different Strokes had Nancy Reagan on, and they had Arnold talk about Just Say No with Nancy Reagan.
Wonderful.
Oh, did they do a story that involved drugs?
It was a very special episode.
I gotta look that one. I gotta look that up.
Did Willis have weed? Was that what it was?
I don't think it was. No, I think it was Arnold. I think it was because Gary Coleman was the popular one. He was the one everybody loved. Gary Coleman. Poor Willis. He was kind of I don't know, second fiddle there.
Fair.
I gotta look that up. We just recently watched the special episode about molestation. Did you see that?
Oh yeah.
That makes me.
I remember because there was a tie-in between Silver Spoons and Different Strokes because Mr. Drummond was in both of them. I think somehow I can't remember. Oh, now I'm gonna have to. There's no way I'm gonna be able to sit through all that crap again. But
well,
I'll just Google it. Somebody else already has and written up a fan theory.
I don't know if I saw that, but I must have because I was a huge Silver Spoons fan.
Right.
And I loved Ricky Schroeder.
Yeah.
He was like one of my first crushes.
Oh, yeah?
and I wrote a love letter to him and sent it to his office, and then I got an autographed picture.
Hell yeah!
That said, "To Patty, love, Ricky."
You got an 8x10.
It was an 8x10
glossy,
headshot.
Was it him sitting on that train?
No, it was just it was just a headshot.
Oh, okay.
But I was like in love with him, and when I got that picture, I was like showing all my friends. I'm like, oh my God, look, it's written in real pen, and it never occurred to me. Yeah, his assistant probably signed them.
Oh.
Some PA is like signing these headshots.
Exactly.
Sure.
And
some
then
poor
these
cramped.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then these 10-year-old girls are like, oh my God, he signed it, he touched it. And then I slept with it like under my pillow and stuff.
Of course you did.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Did you subscribe to Tiger Beat or just buy it at the... Okay, good.
I think I did.
Okay.
I met him actually in the airport, like when we were 15 or something.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was at LaGuardia Airport, and I was in the gift shop, and I ran into him, and he was like in that sort of awkward teenage stage where...
Do you still have a bowl cut?
No.
Okay.
No, he actually looked pretty fashionable. He was like kind of rocking the whole like mid 80s, sort of like new wave look.
Okay.
And, but he was still in that awkward adolescent phase where he was kind of like, he had acne and, and it was like, he lost that little boy cuteness.
Sure.
And I think his career was sort of in a lull at that point. Mm-hmm. So it's like I kind of like met him at like the nadir of his career.
You got that 8x10 black and white glossy photo at his zenith.
Yes.
And then met him in person at the Nader. That's what a bummer.
Yes, but anyway, back to the molestation.
God, yeah.
Let's end on that.
For sure.
That episode is nuts, you guys. You've seen it, right?
Yes. I saw. I think I watched it live on TV when when it aired.
What did you think back then when you saw it?
I mean, I'm trying to think how old I must have been, and I don't really know, because would it have been in like the early 80s, like 82 or 83?
Yeah, you'd be like 10 years old or something, 10 or 11.
Yeah, I don't think I really knew anything. Like, I didn't know how to process it. And
right,
I was like, this is weird.
Yeah, it's done in a way that if you're young and innocent, like you're not even going to know what they're talking about.
Right.
Yeah. I feel like if you were to take like the Star Wars holiday special and the molestation very special episode of Silver Spoons, or was it Silver Spoons or was it Different Strokes?
Different Strokes.
Different Strokes.
And like watch those together, your head might explode. I just think it's like it would be an overdose of everything that was wrong with the 80s. Like the best of intentions and the worst execution ever. Am I wrong? Tell me if I'm wrong.
Well, I mean, I don't know if the molestation episode had the best of intentions. I mean, I mean, they clearly wanted to.
They wanted to warn us.
Exactly. They wanted to put a spotlight on this crime that happens and sort of warn kids to stay away from it.
But it was their friend who it happened to, right? Like not them. They didn't get molested.
Well, yes, but it could have happened to Arnold.
Right.
If he had stuck around.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Jesus, that's heavy.
Yeah. But so I'm just saying that maybe the intentions were good, but you're making an entertainment show here. Like
it's a sitcom.
It's a sitcom. This is not the place for it.
Yeah. Well, they figured kids were watching it. This is how we're going to teach the kids. I mean, but then this was also the era of the satanic panic. Everything was fucked up, if we're honest. Like, yeah. Oh, I can't think of a better way to end the show.
So glad this is where we are.
Shit. I'm sorry. Did I bring us down?
Oh, this is great.
You have been fantastic.
I could tell you about the time I peed in a Ziploc bag.
No. We're gonna hold on to that. We're gonna hold on to that.
I'm just gonna keep teasing that one forever.
I mean,
we're gonna get it out of you at some point.
I want you to. That's what she said.
Then
she put it and she put it in a Ziploc.
And now we're ready to end on an up note. That's what I'm saying. Patty Lin, you know how we end the show. Why don't you help us to do that?
Oh, yes.
It's like you don't know.
Maybe you don't know anymore. It's been a minute.
Speaking of him.
Yes.
You've heard that there were classified documents in his abode as well, right?
Sure, yeah.
I just think I've got classified. I probably have classified documents in my abode. I don't know when anybody's going to come find them, but
yeah. No, I honestly believe that he didn't know about these things. I think his assistants or his aides or whoever are like taking care of his papers. He doesn't give a shit. He doesn't know what's in there.
I don't give a shit.
I don't give it. Nobody cares. No. But
I think Trump is selling them to foreign nations.
That's why. That's what I care about.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
I think in Pence's case, it doesn't matter at all. But
probably not.
I'm actually
he's a shit enough person without that. It does.
Yeah, and he didn't try to stage a coup, so he's good in my book.
Exactly.
I mean, as far as that is concerned.
Okay, only that. Don't throw my whole reality into chaos.
No.
Okay, Patty.
So I don't blame him for this document thing. I don't think it's a big deal, but I am really glad that this came up because now it's not just Trump versus Biden on the classified documents thing. Totally. You know, it's like, okay, this is basically the Pence thing basically shows everybody's got fucking classified documents.
Yeah.
It's
but probably
no big deal.
not like 15 boxes of thousands of documents.
Everybody who knows the situation will say that Trump's thing is totally different from these other.
Oh, not everyone.
Different ballgame.
Well, not everybody. You know,
GOP members are going to be like, it's totally the same thing. Yeah.
There are plenty of other things to not like Mike Pence about.
Yep.
Yes.
Sure.
Pick one of those things.
His lifelong dedication to the extermination of LGBTQ people.
I mean, for starters.
Yeah, just to start with. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yay.
All right, so fuck them. FMP.
FMP.
FMP.